Hello, and welcome to my little corner of the cosmic universe. This is High Priestess Indigo, and I am back with another reading for the collective. So let's start with a prayer, and then we're going to start with our subconscious cards, and then we'll jump right into the reading. Almighty God, I thank you for allowing me to be a clear channel for your Holy Spirit and for your message. God, I ask that you bless each and every person that finds this video. You know who they are, where they are on their journey. And God, I ask that you bind and return to sender any and all negativity and negative entities. God, I rebuke and plead the blood of Christ over this reading. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, all right, we got the cards jumping right on out. Needing to heal the inner child, unresolved trauma, or unmet needs from childhood that continue to influence adult behavior. So somebody dealing with some inner child wounds, needing to unpack a spiritual crisis, an intense and transformative spiritual experience that may initially cause distress but can lead to growth and understanding. So this is giving ego death. Somebody's managing ego death and unpacking inner child wounds right now. Ooh, it's a tough place to be. It's a lot of work. Needing to address fear of vulnerability, a strong aversion or fear towards being emotionally exposed, open, or vulnerable, often result from past experience of betrayal, rejection, or emotional harm. So, fear of vulnerability. Okay. Ooh, okay, I'll take these 3 cards. Issues coming from imposter syndrome, believing oneself to be a fraud or unworthy of success and recognition, which can erode spiritual confidence. Apparently can't talk today right now with these recognition words. like as many times as I say that word, how am I struggling to say it today? Just I guess whoever's going to be coming through in this reading is struggling with their words. Needing to address a divine guidance. See, look at her. Deficient. Y'all forgive me. Roll with me today. Just roll with me today. Absence or perceived absence of spiritual direction or support from higher sources, resulting in feelings of uncertainty, aimlessness, or disconnection from one's spiritual path or life purpose. Divine guidance deficit. So this is somebody that feels like they're not connected to higher source. They could feel disconnected from their spiritual team, their ancestors. Feeling arising from spiritual stagnation, feeling stuck or stagnant in one's spiritual journey without a sense of growth or progress. So this is somebody that feels like they're stuck in a cycle in their spiritual growth. Okay, so those are the subconscious cards. Those are things that may or may not the person may or may not be aware of right now, but let's get some. Start with the broken mirror, oracle cards. So, and that one. Okay. All right. So what do we have here? Guidance, faith, healing, intuition, dreams. It's the first card out. Okay. Unknown caller, stalking, hanging up, unknown numbers. Okay. Guilt, apology, remorseful, ashamed. So, this reading is concerning divine masculine. Deuces, fed up, cutting ties, walking away. So, I knew this when I was looking at the subconscious cards. I was like, oh boy. Netflix and chill, sneaking around, friends with benefits, spending time with someone. Oh boy. No contact. Blocked. Silent treatment. Cut off all communication. So what we have right here is he's a divine masculine, but I want to say sort of kind of still a little distorted just because this person is still very much unpacking their subconscious wounding. This is somebody that's going definitely going through a dark night of the soul, and they're going through basically um, ego death. This is somebody that is starting to realize that the masks that they have been wearing are ill fitting, and they're ready to take these masks off. This is somebody that has been very um, masked up in hiding their vulnerabilities and their weaknesses, or the things that they perceived as weaknesses. But they're starting to slowly understand that the things that they thought were weaknesses, meaning their vulnerabilities, were actually strengths. And they were things that they needed to address. As a result, this is somebody that feels very lost spiritually. I feel like they're feeling very. The term I want to hear is the term I want to say is this is somebody that's very weepy. And I don't mean it in like, oh, what was me, but I mean it in a like, this is somebody that's been doing a lot of crying. I'm getting the feeling that when this when this person's ego death kicked in, their heart chakra open. And all of those suppressed emotions that this masculine energy was tapping down, it is at the surface, and it has them feeling just like lost. But I just get the feeling that it's like, okay, best way to explain this, when I went through my ego death, I remember, well, we all go through multiple ego deaths, but I'm talking about the main big one, the one that really started my spiritual journey. Um, I remember feeling like the Sade song King of Sorrows. I'm crying everyone's tears. I have already paid for all my future sins. There's nothing anyone can say to take this away. It's just another day. Nothing's any good. Like that feeling of just being bereft, and just, it's like Pandora's box opened up emotionally, and this person is really struggling. This is somebody that's seeking guidance. They're trying to find faith, because this dark night of the soul and this ego death is really it's really whooping up on them. But whoever you are, divine masculine, let me tell you, you're in the thick of the worst of this ego death, and it feels like it's never going to stop, but I can promise you that it will stop, it will get better. Like when you first started going through the process, that all the stuff that comes up, it is coming so fast, and it's such a torrential downpour of just emotions. It takes you all the way back to childhood. I spent I have to admit, I want to say the first couple of months of ego death, when I was not working, and I do mean I literally remember having to store up all my strength just to be able to go to work every day. And then when I would get home, I would come immediately home from work, and I would literally curl up in a fetal position on the floor, and I would just hold myself and rock back and forth. This is where this person's at. Like, this is somebody who walked away from a karmic situation. And I feel like this karmic situation that you were in had a lot to do with you now being in your ego death. Whatever transpired in this karmic relationship has left you feeling guilty, ashamed, remorseful, apologetic, because what I'm hearing very clearly is you walked away from your divine feminine for this karmic partner, and some truth came out about who you were really with, which sent this masculine energy into ego death. This is somebody who's currently being stalked. basically to a certain extent by this karmic, because this is somebody that does not want to let go of the relationship. So what I'm seeing is this divine masculine walked away from his divine feminine, choosing this karmic. He thought the karmic was the divine feminine. Then once he walked away from his divine feminine, the mask on the karmic fell off. He saw who he was really dealing with. And now that he knows who he's really dealing with, he's now walking away from that situation, which is definitely just making like this ego death even worse, because now this karmic is basically stalking this man. She's calling from unknown numbers, she's hanging up, she's driving by. This is somebody that, like I said, he walked away from. He said deuces. He cut ties with. Once he saw that mask fall, this is somebody that honestly, part of why he feels so guilty and ashamed of himself is because he knew this karmic was a Netflix and chill type of girl. Like, that's how they met. I feel like it was one of those hookup type situations that turned into more. But he didn't realize that the connection that he thought he felt was really just karmic karma. So yeah, this is somebody who, like I said, they're in the worst of it, because this is somebody that is now cut off from his divine feminine. There's no communication, blocking, silent treatment, cut off all communication. And we can add energetically blocked, because yeah, this is like I said, this is something that he's realizing that he should have never let progress past the point that it was. He is, like I say, this is somebody that is feeling very remorseful, very much ashamed, because he couldn't see that he was walking away from the true gift, and he thought that this karmic was the true gift. Now this woman, like I say, she's calling him from unknown numbers. She's stalking. She's she's a banshee right now. This man is going, like, on top of him dealing with all of this now, what was once suppressed trauma and things that were tapped down. Now all of that's at the surface. And then on top of that, he has this layer of, oh, girl is crazy. I mean, crazy, like certifiable nut job. Like, and she's harassing while this person's in the throes of ego death. Whew. Wow. Man, bro. But I can say this is somebody that is going through the change, though. They are definitely going through the change. Um, I don't know how willing, well, I mean, given that this person made the wrong decision, this is giving somebody that was trying to run from their spiritual growth. They're trying to run from their um, ego death, and they ran right into it. And that happens. That's the catch that a lot of folks don't realize, is when you opt to not grow spiritually, and you think that the choice that you're making is going to prevent you from having to do the spiritual work, God will have the last laugh, because you will backdoor yourself right into ego death. Only once you get to the ego death, it's far worse than it would have been if you had just chosen your divine feminine, unfortunately. And that's where this person is. Like, that's why this is pretty feeling pretty awful for this divine masculine, is because even more so, I'm getting the very real feeling that this is somebody that got nudges from the universe. This is somebody that was kind of, your spirit team and your spirit guys kept pushing you in a certain direction, kept wanting you to pay attention to the signs of what they were trying to show you. And I feel like this is somebody that was either deliberately misinterpreting the signs or not really understanding what the signs were that they were getting. I want to say probably misinterpreting the signs on purpose, because our spirit guides, I mean, they're usually pretty clear to you in a way where you understand. If somebody was to see the signs that my spirit guide give me, they might not understand it, but I understand it because they're my spirit guides. They understand me. They know how my brain thinks. They know how I function, and so they have to send me messages in a way that I understand. And I feel like this person's spirit guides were definitely pointing them away from this karmic. But I don't know why this person made the decision to choose this karmic over the divine feminine, but they are paying for it. And they're paying for it in a bone chilling ego death that they were not expecting. This is somebody who is currently, like I said, they're healing, but they're now getting, guidance through their dreams. They're getting guidance through the most random of things. I feel like anything from songs to, like, when they go places, there's little things that they're noticing that they never saw before. And it all keeps bringing them back to the reality of the decision that they made, which was they walked away from the person they should have been with for somebody that is now very clear to them that they made the wrong choice. Yeah, like I said, once he saw that mask fall off and he's the truth, and I feel like there's still more truth to come with this karmic, whoever this divine masculine was dealing with. I think that was only the tip of the iceberg of what he found out, but it was enough for him to finally walk away from the situation. But the sadness is his spirit team was trying to get him to walk away before this even happened. This is somebody that ran from themselves and ran right into their ego death with this karmic. And this is sad because, like I said, this person's heart is, yeah, this is somebody that is starting to understand that they have a lot of toxic people around them. And I feel like they have, yeah, see, I knew it was going to be on there. Bad advice. This is somebody that got a lot of bad advice too. This is somebody that hadn't learned how to really listen to their own inner voice and their own discernment. This is somebody that, okay, the term is, this person was outsourcing their intuition and their guidance. They were basically relying on friends and family and maybe even coworkers to give them advice about which direction they should have gone. And unfortunately, because they were in their lower vibrational frequency at the time, these people gave him bad advice because the people he was surrounded with were also low vibrational, and they were not going to help this guy because, no offense, but if you haven't noticed, divine masculine, divine feminine, chosen ones, light workers, spiritual beings, whatever you identify as spiritually, we're not very popular on this plane. If you haven't noticed, we're always under constant spiritual warfare and spiritual attack. We're betrayed by family, friends, you name it, and we've probably been betrayed by that person. People that were supposed to care for us and love us. So you're finding out that you're no different because, as a divine masculine, you're finding out that there's a lot of people that are invested in your downfall, and it's usually people close to you. And it's sad to say that, and I can say that because I know from experience in my own life, finding out people that you thought were like 10 toes down with you or in your corner are actually people that are secretly rooting, or not so secretly now, rooting on your downfall. Frenemies, people that you think are your friends, you see them as genuine friends, but they secretly hate you. That's the plight of light workers and spiritual folks. Unfortunately, we are betrayed the most, and this person was definitely betrayed by wrong advice and people that who had a and is I want to say in this group, he had some folks that knew what he was dealing with, that it was a twin flame. And because they didn't want to see him happy, they deliberately gave him bad advice. Is what I'm getting. Like, but this was somebody, fortunately, if they had started their spiritual work and their inner work sooner, they would have recognized the people in their circle that was toxic, and they would have known, not to take their advice, and they would have also known to choose their divine feminine, because they would have been able to tell the difference between fool's gold and real gold. And this person didn't know the difference because they were so, caught up in their own wounding, that they just weren't at the vibrational frequency where they could actually make clear-minded decisions. Is really what I'm getting. Like, this person couldn't make clear-minded decisions because they just didn't have a point of reference. And unfortunately, I know what that looks like too. Like, that's it's a tough place to be, where you're just kind of feeling like you're way behind where you should be, because you've had so many people put so many roadblocks in your way, including family members. So this is, instead of this being somebody that should have already been in their true self and really understood what they were dealing with, they relied on too many people. They outsourced their own spiritual guidance to the wrong folks, instead of trusting their own divine guidance, their own inner guidance. And I always tell people, like, one of the best things, like, it's great to watch readers, it's great to, read books, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you are the only person who is the spiritual authority outside of God and the team that He's assigned you. You're the foremost authority on yourself. So, excuse me, since you are the foremost authority on yourself, you have to be able to know yourself better than anybody. And this is somebody that just didn't know themselves because they were running from themselves. And when you run from yourselves, you make yourself vulnerable to, basically being manipulated, because people who aren't don't have your best interests at heart, they sniff out those vulnerabilities, that inner child wounding, that spiritual crisis, your fear of vulnerability. They sniff it out, they smell it on you. It's like, when you're not doing your spiritual work, and you're not healing, and you're not, dealing with your childhood wounds and all those type of things like that, you almost have like this stench that's on you. And trust me, the opposition can smell it, and they will exploit you, and they will make you a target, and they will manipulate you, do spell work, dark magic over you, anything to keep you blind to the truth of who you are. And this person was subjected to some of that kind of stuff. People who deliberately, misguided him. And I'm not making any excuses for this masculine, because the truth of the matter was, this was somebody that knew they should have been working on themselves. But this was a lesson this person had to learn, because they were running so hard from themselves. They didn't want to see the truth. And now that this situation has happened, now they finally see the truth. It's rough. Yeah. This is somebody who in the past was very sneaky, very mysterious, very much holding information. This is somebody who sat on their feelings. And I feel like that's part of a big reason why they were secretive. I do feel like this person was definitely getting into some things that they had no business getting into. But I feel like most of it just came from a suppression. Because when people aren't willing to be honest with themselves, they are very secretive. Like, just naturally. Naturally so. This is somebody who was very secretive for that reason, because they weren't very much in touch with their feelings and able to express themselves in a way where, they could be vulnerable. This is somebody that avoided vulnerability. They don't want to be vulnerable. Well, they didn't want to be vulnerable. They're vulnerable now, though. They're wide open. This is somebody like I said, he's feeling guilty and he's snooping on his divine feminine. Like he's snooping on her. This is somebody that is doing drive-by stalking, social media, psychic tarot readings. Like this is somebody that's trying to get as much information as they can, because this is somebody that is definitely, like, it came in right under the guilt card. It's definitely somebody feeling guilty. Hmm. These kind of situations are so heartbreaking to me, because we take a route that we think will protect us, but the thing that we're not always getting is the thing that you're protecting is ego based. The ego has to die, and not and I'm not saying this in a bad way, because when we come into this life, we take on an ego. It's how we show up in the world, it's how we identify in the world, it's how we are seen in the world. But as we grow and we mature and we come into spiritual knowledge, we understand that it's not necessarily the ego that is bad, it's the fact that the ego was in control. So, ego death and spiritual enlightenment is designed to turn your ego from a giant into a small, you know, little person, because the ego is not supposed to be in charge. The spiritual part of you, the spirit that is housed in this body, is supposed to be in charge. The soul that is in housed in this body, which is a direct spark from divine source, God, that's supposed to be in charge. And when it's not in charge, that's how we get into these, wounding places, this, cheating, stealing, lying, sneaking around. Like, all of these things are part of the ego. And when the ego knows it's time to die, it will fight you tooth and nail. Which is why ego death is so painful, because you're literally giving up the identification that you think you are in the world, until God can reprogram you to understand that you're not this ego, you're not this body, you're not just this person that's driving this car, that has this house and works this kind of job and has this kind of money. That there's actually, that's the ego, that's the 3D part of it. But the reality is your spiritual being having a human experience. And like I say, the spiritual part of you has to be in control. It has to be the giant, not the ego. So ego death is designed to shrink the ego so that it is actually a manageable part of the spiritual, the whole package. But it's not the thing that's driving the car anymore. This is somebody that's currently fighting with this karmic. Like I said, this is somebody that, and I'm going to tell you a little secret with these karmics, especially since whoever you are, divine masculine, you're in ego death right now. You're going to do a lot of fighting, and it's meaning this karmic's going to do a lot of fighting, because the whole point of this karmic right now is to trigger you. This is somebody that's going to keep picking fights. They want a reaction out of you, because as long as they get some kind of reaction out of you, they're pulling energy off of you. So this is somebody that, you know, they're going to keep trying to fight with you, because they want to keep you distracted. Because, one, this person does not want you over here trying to go back, or even, connect with your divine feminine. That's the first main goal. Well, one of the first main goals. And then the second goal is to keep you stagnant, so that you don't want to continue on with your, spiritual growth. That's her biggest objective, is to stop you spiritually. Because you have to understand, when a person has not come into the fullness of God, they're karmics. And karmics are easily manipulated by dark forces. So that's the best way to explain it. So this is somebody that's currently being manipulated to try to get at this divine masculine. So they're picking fights. So it's saying here, trust issues, one-sided, detached. So I hope in the case of this divine masculine that you are staying detached and letting these fights be one sided and not engaging with this karmic, because that's her main objective is to basically be in conflict with you right now. Ooh, baby, but you are sick and tired. So even more reason why this ego death is so timely. You're sick and tired of being in a cycle. But let me tell you, part of your tiredness right now is the ego death because it's exhausting. I'm not gonna even lie to you. It's one of the most exhausting things to go through when it starts, and it is it breaks you. It literally breaks you, and that's by design. And like I say, and the thing that's breaking is not necessarily you, the person. I mean, yeah, well, I guess it is technically you, the person. It's the ego. But once the ego dies, then the spirit can emerge like the phoenix. And the spiritual being that's housed in you can rise like the phoenix. And it can start blooming. And then all of these inner child things, all of these subconscious things, they shrivel down to non-existent almost, because once you heal certain things aren't a trigger. You're no longer afraid of vulnerability because you're no longer trying to tiptoe past those feelings that you suppressed, because they're not there. They're no longer like wounds, you know. And so yeah, you've been in cycles, but I feel like you've made a decision to move forward. Like I said, because you've already told this karmic deuces. You've already walked away from that. You are just sick and tired of this. She's like a gnat to you right now. I feel like you're just like shoe fly, is the energy that you're feeling. But you're tired because you're going through your ego death, and you're going through, all of you're unpacking all of that wounding, and it's gonna leave you tired for a while. But I will tell you the same thing I've been really understanding is, like I say, when you don't have wounds, you're not able to be manipulated. People can't gaslight you. People can't do spell work and dark magic over you if you don't have wounds. That's the gag. That's the secret nobody tells you. That's why it's so important to heal and to do spiritual work, because it makes you less vulnerable to manipulation and to gaslighting and to narcissistic attacks and dark entity attachments and those kind of things. So while you're in this phase, just know that you are divinely protected, because God does understand that you do need some shielding while you're going through an ego death. But you're going to be sick and tired for a minute until you get through the worst of the healing. And then you'll start tapering off. So, meanwhile, you planning. Are you trying to reach out to your divine feminine? This is somebody that's planning something. Text, a phone call, a meeting up. So this is definitely somebody that wants to block, wants to break this no contact. I feel like you're struggling with your words here, because I've been struggling with words since this reading started. Whoever you are, divine masculine. My only advice to you for communication with your divine feminine: just understand you might get some anger, and rightly so. You chose the karmic over her. So, I mean, there's that part. And then, two, you've been secretive, withholding your truth, your feelings. So, she's going to feel some type of way too, because you haven't been the most honest person in the relationship, in the connection. And then, my biggest thing to you is just, understand that this person might be pretty distrusting of you right now, just because you chose a karmic over her. Like, that's pretty big. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not a good look in the eyes of the divine feminine. But if you're going to reach out to her, you're gonna have to be completely 100% honest. No lies, no withholding nothing, no secrets. You're gonna have to be 100% authentically truthful, or it's not gonna work. I can tell you right now. I feel like this was you in the past. This You were somebody that was playing mind games. You were immature. You were testing her. You were analyzing her. You were punishing her too. Is what I'm getting. And I don't think you understood that wanting to punish her was you scapegoating her and projecting all of your hurts and brokenness onto your divine feminine. But yeah, I think that's part of the truth that's gonna have to come out too. And I realized, I think, sorry, what made you realize this is what I was getting ready to say, but my words came out totally different. What made you realize that you were playing mind games was this karmic playing mind games on you. She mirrored to you exactly what you were doing in all the ways that you were toxic. And I think that's adding to your guilt and your shame is because now you see very clearly just all the ways that you were toxic to your divine feminine. And she didn't deserve that. So now you have this uphill battle, you know, that you're going to have to deal with because, I mean, I can't speak for the divine feminine in this case, but I don't know. Like, you coming back now, realizing after you don't already chose somebody else is like, are you only coming back because now, karma's kicking your butt? Yeah, you're somebody that's been under spiritual attack. I mean, and some of your spiritual attack right now is this karma. And it was divine intervention. Like I said, you walked away from your divine feminine, got, chose this karmic and went into immediate ego death, which was really divine intervention because you and that karmic were never gonna make it. That's the part you didn't see at the time when you chose it. But you chose what was comfortable because it meant you didn't have to do your work. Now you're having to face your demons. So this is part of why this spiritual stagnation and the spiritual crisis card that's on the subconscious level makes a lot of sense. It also explains why this person is feeling like they're having a divine guidance deficit. You're never fully disconnected from God in that sense, but in the current crisis that you're in, I know it definitely feels that way because you're just in a low vibrational frequency right now. But once you start raising your frequency, it will improve. Hmm. It says make it rain, but I feel like you're not in the making it rain kind of era. I feel like that's what you would want to be. I feel like you're trying to manifest that, but I want to say, I mean, I get this second part on here legal matters in your favor. If you're going through any legal matters, I know you want to manifest them going in your favor, but on the manifesting abundance, you're, I'm just going to be honest with you. With you going through this ego death and this dark night of the soul, your frequency is too low to manifest abundance right now. Unfortunately, you're so excuse me. What I'm being told to tell you very clearly is your priorities are in the wrong place. You gotta take it off of manifesting money right now and just work on manifesting yourself through this soul journey, through this ego death. Manifesting you, being connected higher to a higher frequency, to a divine source, to God. Because focusing on making it rain right now is not going to help you. Not with your twin flame. Because you have to understand the divine feminine in a real divine feminine is not moved by money. The things she won't have nothing to do with money. Divine feminine wants to be treated with love, kindness, respect. She wants to be honored as your queen. She wants to be treated like the empress that she is. She wants to be treated as valuable. That's the stuff that she wants. That's what she wants you to make it rain in. She wants to see you be a person of integrity, a person of honor, a person of respect. Coming in with money, that's not gonna move her. It's the same way it doesn't move God. Money doesn't move God. I mean, like, she's a divine feminine. She has access to money. She serves God. She has only to ask for it. She doesn't need you to bring her money. She needs you to bring her truth and clarity and integrity and honesty and vulnerability. That's what she needs you to make it rain at. So I'm being told to tell you, stop trying to manifest money. It's not going to help you right now. And like I said, your frequency is not high enough for money manifestation. People are really get caught up in the all these. I see them all the time when I'm on like YouTube. It's like these channels. Oh, we watch this video and we could show you how to instantly manifest millions of dollars and da 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 da. That's nice. Manifesting is very nice. It's a very, very powerful tool. But what people don't tell you is you have to be in the right vibrational frequency in order to manifest and for those manifestations to really be, potent and powerful. You can't manifest them when you're in the spirit of lack. You can't manifest when you're in the spirit of fear. You can't manifest when you're in the fear of when you're in the space of running from yourself and not doing your spiritual work. All you're going to manifest is your current vibrational frequency, which is ego death. Um, whatever frequency you are in, that's where you're going to manifest that. And this divine masculine, his energy is low right now because he's going through ego death and doing all the spiritual work. So trying to manifest money right now, it's gonna actually have the opposite effect. It's gonna cause you to lose more money because your vibrational frequency is not at the level of being able to manifest. You know, not in a way where it's truly like powerful on a spiritual level like it's supposed to be. I just gotta be honest. Yeah, this is somebody who was very stubborn. I feel like whoever you are, divine masculine, you were the king of push and pull. A lot of power struggles, a lot of imbalances, and unfortunately, you did this with your twin flame, but you really did this with this karmic. That's probably should have been a dead giveaway when you were in this karmic relationship was the fact that it was so much push and pull. But I'm getting the feeling that this just felt normal to you. I feel like all your relationships have been push and pull, and so your divine feminine was the outlier. She was the person that didn't want to do the push and pull with you. She didn't want to fight with you. She wanted to love you. And unfortunately, because you didn't recognize that that was actually the healthier option, you chose the karmic option, which was what you've always been used to, which is this push and pull dynamic. But I just really get like this the bottom thing on this card, the stubborn. You were very, very stubborn. Very, very, kind of bullheaded. And it's kind of got you you know, in this cycle. This is what contributed to some of the cycle. Yeah. Now Unfortunately, your divine feminine is giving you the cold shoulder. I'm sorry. There's distance, separation, breakup. Like, yeah, I feel like this, your divine feminine got exhausted. It came in right under the sick and tired card. Yeah, your divine feminine was sick and tired. Just like you were sick and tired of the cycles with this karmic, your divine feminine was sick and tired of the cycles with you. Unfortunately, divine masculine, she was over it. So yeah, now she is giving you the cold shoulder because I mean this push and pull was no joke. It was costing her her mental health, and she chose herself rather than to allow herself to go down. Hmm. Listen, I'm getting this two ways. So this is showing love affair, right? Secrecy, third party hooking up, STDs. I'm feeling like you partook in some of this, but I'm really feeling this karmic that you were dealing with. They were really, really into this. And I don't think you realized this, but yeah, this karmic was really into third party hooking up. And I feel like there might have been something she gave you. I don't know. I'm not getting the feeling that it's incurable, but she gave you something that made you realize, like, oh, wait a minute. But I also feel like some of this is you. Like you had a few little sneaky links yourself too now. I don't think you were totally a choir boy in this situation either. I think you and this karmic were mutually um y'all were mutually dysfunctional together. And that's part of why your divine feminine walked away because she wasn't like that. And I think that's part of why you walked away too. Because my feeling is you chose this karmic and then she walked away because she wasn't going to stick around to go through these cycles with you and do this push and pull. So she did cut off all communication and basically gave you the silent treatment after you chose this karmic. She wasn't going to sit around and wait for that. Um, yeah. Like I said, unfortunately, this karmic mirrored back to you everything that you were. So everything that you were doing, the secrecies, the hookups, the third party hookups, um, you basically wind up getting somebody that was just like that. Let me get a couple more cards and then we're gonna end this reading. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I could tell you this much. You are fiending over your divine feminine. Baby. I got a flash of something I wasn't supposed to see. Um, you've been self pleasuring yourself to thoughts of your divine feminine. Oh, you are feeding for this woman now. No wonder you trying to plan a meetup. Trying to jump this woman bones. Hold that thought though. Because when you go back, that needs to be, as much as you're feeding for her, that's going to be the last thing on the list she wants to hear about. Just saying, you got a lot of stuff out here that has to be addressed if you're going to talk to this woman, if she will listen to you. Because I get the feeling she's good and done. Like she's good and done. I don't know how long this cycle went on and how long you guys were in this, loop. But when a woman's fed up, look, I'm gonna have to quote R. Kelly: "A broken clock is right twice a day." Um, when a woman's fed up, ain't nothing you can do about it. So I don't know if there's some Hail Mary, come to Jesus type of conversation that you can have, but I don't know. You did choose a karmic over her. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Yeah. Intimacy, passion, coming into union, chemistry, missing you. So coming into union is on here, so it's a possibility. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. It's a possibility. It just depends on the amount of inner work you're doing. So that's why I say don't focus on trying to make it rain right now. Focus on this healing work because that's what's gonna impress her way more than you showing up with some money. Divine feminine is never hurting for money. She's divinely protected. She's divinely taken care of by the universe, God, and trust me, this divine feminine is walking into her abundance season. So I don't have a feeling that she's gonna need money at all here soon. So don't come with the money. Money only impresses karmics. Just a word of advice there. Only karmics are impressed by your money. Real divine feminines, women who are walking in, good women like that, women who really truly love you for you, we don't care two snots about your money. We actually genuinely just love you and we're there for you, not because of the money. So trying to show up to impress her with money is not going to help. It's not gonna move her. It might turn her off. So while you're missing intimacy and desire and passion and you're missing this woman, just make sure that you have done enough of this inner work for you to actually show up as your authentic self, because that's what's going to impress her is you being truthful, vulnerable, authentic. No more secrets, no more lies, no more sneaky links. you know Go get yourself tested, because if you dealing with this karmic Jezebel, them women right there is real reckless out here. They're real reckless. So go get yourself tested just in case, if you have not already done so. But yeah, I mean, I feel for you because I listen. This life is tough for all of us. This spiritual journey is tough for all of us. Um, it's not an easy walk, but if you're on it, it's because God knows that you're strong enough to handle it. You're strong enough to go through it. So one of my favorite saying is, if you don't bend, you will break. You got to bend, because this spiritual work is not for the faint of heart. It's not easy, but it's not going anywhere. And even when you think you're running from yourself and you think you're going to be able to avoid having to do the work, God will let you run right into somebody that sends you right into an ego death like this karmic did. But I'm going to, I say a prayer for you, whoever you are, divine masculine, because I know you're in a hurting place right now. But that's the message. Be blessed.